Right. Now, this is one of my favorites, Revelation 3, 15, and 16. In fact, this is a verse that was very pivotal at one point in time when I had strayed away from the faith, and somebody had to preach this verse for me to get back in faith, get back on track. And so it's very interesting that I am pulling this verse up this evening, and it goes like this: I know your deeds, that you are neither cold nor hot. I wish you were either one or the other. Now, what's a popular understanding of this verse? A popular understanding of this verse is that we can either be hot and passionate for Jesus, right? Really running, from one end to the other end, preaching. Can we go to the previous one again, please? Preaching and teaching and serving Jesus and so on and so forth. And that is being hot and on fire for Jesus. Okay, that's the word they use. So if you're like that, from this verse, we understand that God will be pleased with us and he will not spit us out. Or you could be the other, at the other end of the spectrum. You could be cold and clammy and not have any faith, not have any inkling of faith. If you're not hot, the other place you ought to be is you ought to be cold. And Jesus in some ways is happy with hot, with the fiery faith, and he's happy with cold. Somebody who doesn't have any faith, he'll not spit them out. But if you're somehow in between, you're a cat on the wall. You cannot be on fire for Jesus yet. You're on your way there, but time and again you become cold in your faith. There are days that you don't want to pray. There are days that you don't want to sing, and so on and so forth. Then that is not acceptable. Okay, but does it even make any rational sense to us that Jesus would embrace and not spit anybody that's cold, embrace and spit anybody that's not spit anybody that's on fire? But if you're somewhere in between, struggling to make it in the faith, that you would be puked out. I don't think so. Okay, so I did a little check on my regular Bible, which is a background Bible. Most modern Bibles, study Bibles, have verse explanations. So when I looked at it, it said in the next slide, hot and cold are used in a geographical context, right? And this particular, two more slides down, this particular passage was written in the book of Revelation to a church at Laodicea. Okay, and Laodicea was a place that had lukewarm water that would flow out of its taps, all right? And sandwiching Laodicea, which is a city close to the coast, there are two other port cities above and below. One is called Colossae and the other is called Hierapolis. Now, Colossae had hot springs and Hierapolis had cold springs. But Laodicea's water was very lukewarm. So to somebody who has come from a long voyage, from a long travel at sea, the hot springs of Colossae were very refreshing. The cold springs of Hierapolis were very refreshing, but the lukewarm Laodicean waters were detestable. If they sampled it, they would spit it out. So in other words, Jesus was telling the Laodicean church, you have lost that refreshing flavor or the quality of refreshing others in the faith. Your faith has become very, very, very lukewarm. You are neither hot nor cold. You are distasteful. And so you are not refreshing in the way you come across. And so I would spit you out. Okay, this makes perfect sense. And all that we need to do is just look at some, background study Bible commentary or whatever, and this becomes immediately very clear to us.